This is Nighthawks All-Access. Hello everyone, Craig Corbin, and thanks so much for being with us on this edition of Nighthawks All-Access. An opportunity to learn more than just stats and scores as we visit with student athletes, with coaches and staff members here at UNG and find out what's going on in the world of athletics. So pleased to be joined by Coach Tori Kostecki here, and we are in one of the more interesting parts of the world of athletics at UNG, the Raymond C. Hamilton Rifle Range. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You know, we talk about rifle. It is an Olympic sport, but yet one that a lot of our viewers might not be familiar with. I know that for me personally, about the only time that I get to see rifle competitions every 4 years during the Olympics. Give us the 30,000-foot overview of competition at the collegiate level in rifle.
So for rifle, we shoot both air rifle and small bore rifle. Each of those are 50% of the event, 60 shots apiece. For the air rifle, we shoot in just the standing position. And for the small bore rifle, we shoot in standing, kneeling, and prone. That is almost identical to what they shoot in the Olympics, only difference being that we shoot at 50 foot instead of 50 meters for the small bore rifle.
Now, when you are in a competition, just a dual meet, walk us through the process of the competition in both those disciplines.
Okay, so all of our athletes are required to start out shooting small bore rifle first. So they'll get to the range, you pack up, set up all their stuff and all. They have 15 minutes to get sighted in, and they'll have an hour and 45 minutes to go through their small bore match. Then they'll have about 30 minutes to change over, get ready for the air rifle event. And at that point then, they'll go ahead and get set up. They'll have 15 minutes of sighters again, an hour and 15 minutes to complete that part of the match.
So when you go through one round of competition in a dual match as an example, how many competitors are involved in each competition?
That can vary kind of wildly.
Okay.
You'll have a minimum of 10 because it takes 5 to make a team, so 5 of us, 5 of them. But you could have 6 or 7 or 8 teams there. You can shoot a bunch of extra kids. Sometimes there's multiple relays. So could be anywhere from 10 to 50.
So it will vary dramatically then from competition to competition. Of course, we need to first say congratulations to the phenomenal success that you have been instrumental in creating here at North Georgia with rifle. A couple of Southern Conference championships in 2017, 2018, and it seems like a perennial top 20 ranking as we speak to you today. Ranked 20th in the country.
Yes,
that is phenomenal.
It's a great place to be, and we haven't been out of the rankings in quite a while now, so that's a great thing.
When you have set that level of excellence here at North Georgia, I'm sure that that is something that enhances the ability to attract new student athletes to the program. What's it like when you're on the recruiting trail and talking with prospective student athletes?
Well, we do a lot of our recruiting. One of the biggest events I go to is out in Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center. There is the Junior Olympics and the Winter Air Gun match. So we're actually leaving on Wednesday. We'll be going to Winter Air Gun, part 1 of the Olympic trials. So I'll be out there, and I've already got meetings set with 2 different prospects while we're there, one from Montana, one from Indiana. So we do recruit nationally all over the country. We've got athletes from New Mexico, New York, New Hampshire, Oregon, all over the place.
I would dare say that there's not another sport here at North Georgia with such a wide variety of states represented on the roster. How many total student athletes do you have currently on the team?
9.
Okay, so you got 9 athletes, and then when you look at the makeup of the current team, how many seniors do you have?
2.
So you're looking to add two prospects. In addition to the event that you'll be attending in Colorado Springs, any other events on your calendar that you'll be looking at?
The biggest ones we've got down at Fort Benning is the USA Shooting Nationals in June. I also go up to Camp Perry, Ohio for the Nationals up there in July. So those are those 4 matches would be our 4 biggest ones.
Right. Now, when you're talking to prospective student athletes, the fact that North Georgia is a perennial top 20 program, you obviously don't have to sell the name recognition because it's there. What's the most important aspect of selling North Georgia when you're talking to a student athlete?
The biggest thing for us, we focus really heavily on the team dynamic. We have a very tight family dynamic. That's the huge thing we recruit on. Any prospect we're looking at has to come up here, has to spend at least a day or 2 with the team, and it's a very interactive experience they go through. You know, they're staying with an athlete, they're going to class with them, we're going out to entertainment activities. They've got to really mesh into our group, or they're not someone we want here.
Right. Now, you talk about the chemistry of a sport that is, there are obviously individual aspects of rifle, but then the team concept. Talk about the challenge of finding finding the right mix, the chemistry in a team for a sport like rifle.
Yeah, that's a common problem we have is we'll get a lot of kids that come in, they're like, well, my scores are just my scores, we're not working with each other, there's no defense in rifle, why does this matter? And I'm like, because you're all still going to be, you're traveling together, you're living together, you're competing together, you spend a lot of time together. You've got to be able to work with each other and build each other up to get to those highest levels that you can get to.
What is the biggest challenge from the standpoint of bringing a program into prominence, as you have done here at North Georgia, perennial top 20? How do you make the step up that ladder as far as competing against the best of the best?
I mean, to get from where we were to where we are currently, the biggest thing was just name recognition, because we're a relatively new program as that goes. So just getting people to know that, yes, we exist, and while we're a military school, you don't have to be in the military, because that was a big problem we had early on. Everyone thought you had to be in the Corps. Now we're moving up to just getting that little bit higher level prospects, and we're getting there right now. We're kind of at the top of our bracket in the rankings right now, 20th to 17th, which is where we've been kind of bouncing this year. But to break from 17 to 16 is a big jump, and I think by next year we should be able to break through that with the prospects that have signed and are hopefully going to be signing.
Interesting. Now, of course, it is normal, I would assume, for those who have aspired to coach in this sport that you would have had a background as a competitor. That's very much the case with you. And talk us through a little bit about your competitive background.
I began shooting in my sophomore year of high school, McEachern High School. I was very into my junior ROTC program. I was very military at that point. I was a military brat. And I was just on all of the various ROTC teams, which happened to include rifle. It was a complete and total fluke. I was terrible at it at first. I barely made the team. But I got into it, and I got more and more involved in the sport and got better over time. And that's where I met JP O'Connor, who was our former coach here at this program at UNG. And he got me in, let me realize that it actually was an Olympic sport and a college sport and all that stuff, which I did not know in high school. Went and did 1 year of shooting up at North Carolina State University under Keith Miller. And then I ended up transferring down to North Georgia to be under JP O'Connor while he was here as coach.
You look at the ability to have achieved your conference championships. Let's talk a little bit about the relationship with the SoCon, the Southern Conference, having come in and now won 2 conference championships. Tremendous point of honor and pride, I would assume, for the program. Talk to us about that. Yeah,
the Southern Conference, we've only been in the conference for 3 years now. It's only accepted rifle as a sport for those 3 years. We were undefeated for the first 2 years. We did great. The third year had some issues, but it's fine. But overall, we've done super well in the conference. This year, we are still the dominant team in the conference. Every one of our matches, even our lowest match, has been above our next closest competitor's highest match. So we are completely undefeated in conference. No one really anywhere near us in conference, so it's a great place for us to be this year.
Well, we are so proud of what you have done with the program here. It is a source of pride for everyone in the Department of Athletics, and I know that it's been both personally and professionally beneficial for you, the association here at North Georgia. What's it like being part of the Department of Athletics here at UNG?
I think our Department of Athletics is just fantastic. The coaches are really supportive. Like I remember when I first got here having no idea what I was doing. I'd done no coaching before I got here. Just completely inexperienced, and they really kind of showed me through everything, walked me through what to do, how do I do recruiting, what's an NLI, how does all this work. They're just really super supportive, and it's a great thing.
We talk about being in the facility here, the rifle range, a phenomenal job to bring this really into a class facility. What's it like knowing that you represent the university so well in a sport that may not get a lot of publicity, but yet is so vital in being a very consistent part of competition here at North Georgia?
I think every sport is equally important, of course. Yes, we probably get a little less publicity than some of the others, but we're a more unique sport than some of the others too. And every sport has their place, and I'm happy with our place.
That was great. Well, we want to congratulate you on the phenomenal job that you've done with the program. We thank you also for being a part of Nighthawk All-Access, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you. Great to be here.
All right. That's going to wrap up this segment. Stay with us. There's more straight ahead.
shop, play, and stay in Dahlonega, the heart of the North Georgia mountains.
The UNG Bookstore is the one-stop shop where students can get anything they need for the classroom and fans can find everything they need to support the Nighthawks, from shirts and jackets to car decals and tailgating chairs. Gear up at the Nighthawks desk with officially licensed UNG merchandise. Be sure to shop in store to find the item of the week. Visit our stores in Dahlonega, Gainesville, Oconee, and Cumming, or check us out online at ungbookstore.com. The UNG Bookstore is a proud sponsor of North Georgia Athletics.
Welcome back again to Nighthawk All-Access, and visiting now with Morgan Mitchell, the Assistant Athletic Director for Game Operations. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It is such a treat to be able here in the gorgeous Convocation Center to find out what goes on behind the scenes. When we talk about game operations, that's a pretty all-encompassing title. What goes into that?
Well, there's a lot of beforehand, a lot of planning for game ops, a lot of the behind the scenes stuff like you said. My main job is to make sure on game day the coaches are coaching. So I'm doing communication with visiting teams, officials. I'm the one greeting them, showing them where to go, making sure the event staff is where they need to be. I run tickets, do a little bit of everything, make sure the facility's set. For this building particularly, it's quite intensive setup and breakdown. So a lot of the prep before the game, and then once the game kind of gets rolling, it really runs itself. It sounds crazy, but it kind of does. We have the right people where they need to be. And then my job from that point is to put out the little fires. So if you're noticing me, it's not a good thing. I'm trying to do the best that I can beforehand so that you don't see me during a game.
Well, you know, you talk about the responsibility that goes along with game operations for all of the sports in the athletic department. I know some more than others with regard to the time commitment that goes into that. I'm sure that a 40-hour week is something that really you never get to enjoy.
Yeah, I try not to count the time, because if I did, I think I would get mad. I think being a salary job, if I was getting paid per the hour, it would make me mad almost, but it's because I love it. I love this job. I love being in this environment. So I don't really take it as, oh, I've worked my 8 hours today, I'm done. If I just do the job that needs to be done, you know, Lindsay Reeves is an amazing boss, and she really kind of gives you the autonomy to work and do your job. So if I need to be here on weekends, which I know I do, I'm at almost every game. I do that because that's my job and I enjoy it. I get to watch sports and get paid for it, so it's not. Yeah, absolutely. So it's very time consuming, but I love what I'm doing, so I don't see it as a burden, the time commitment.
Not just one sport, but a two-sport participant at Armstrong, both soccer, basketball. Let's talk a little bit about your background from an athletic standpoint.
Well, being a student athlete, I enjoy being surrounded by athletics. I grew up in a family, my mom was a college basketball player, my dad played football. So being in the environment and staying in that environment is what attracted me to working in athletics at all. But being a two-sport athlete, for me, it's kind of crazy. My personality is a little everywhere, and I originally just wanted to do soccer. And then after being in soccer for a year and not playing basketball, I was like, I got to play this again. I've got to change it up a little bit, because I was getting, like, doing one thing for me all the time it's just not my personality. I'm just a little bit everywhere, like I said. But being in that environment, playing soccer, playing basketball, and then transitioning that to the job, you know, it's kind of funny as a student athlete, you don't realize all the work that goes in behind a game. You show up, you're ready to play, and you play. And so I didn't even know game operations existed when I was a student athlete, but coming into it and getting to having that background and that joy and that passion, it makes me transition that to my job, because I want to give them the same experiences that I had.
Now, you are from the area,
Yes.
relatively speaking, a phenomenal career at Parkview, great tradition there.
Yes.
Two questions. One, understand that the decision when it came time to select where you were going to go to college came down to University of North Georgia and Armstrong, and maybe another option there.
Yeah, there was. This was actually the very first college visit I ever had. So Chris Adams was the coach then, and he brought me in for a visit, and I fell in love with North Georgia. I came here as a kid growing up, went horseback riding to North Georgia. We came to the square all the time, so I was very familiar with the area, and it felt like home to me. And being close to home, I felt far enough away where I could be my own person, and then close enough to where I could go home and do laundry if I needed to. But I actually ended up committing, or verbally committing, to a D1 school. And Chris had warned me, don't get distracted by all the fancy things for D1, and I did. And then it just happened to go to this high school camp with Parkview, and Eric Faulkner ended up being my camp coach. And he just slyly said, if you're ever interested and you want to come for a visit, let me know. We had a great connection right off the bat. And one day after school, my teammate from high school and a club teammate was like, I'm going to Armstrong. I'm going to go check it out. I was like, can I come with you? I want to go see it. And so I went with her, and I ended up falling in love with the players and Eric. And he said, you come from 3 state championship team, or you've won state 3 times in a row. You come from winning background. You know what it takes to win. I need people like you to win a national championship, and I believe that we can. And ironically, we went all the way to the Final Four, and 2 years in a row we lost to the national champs, but we were right there. And it's funny to think I was bought in. Looking back, I'm like, wow, I was kind of a sucker, but not really. I mean, he believed in us so much, and the passion that he had for the game, it made everybody want to play as best they could. And so I got fortunate enough to be on winning teams in high school and in college. So, but that comes with all the other players as well.
Absolutely. And now associated with a phenomenal department here
Absolutely.
At UNG.
I know. I think, I gravitate toward those awesome programs. Armstrong was a great program. They don't exist anymore, but out of any other school in the Peach Belt, really in the state, this is where I wanted to be. I put all my eggs in this basket hoping that I would get this job. I had an opportunity at Georgia Southern and D1 again to be there. They have football, but I was 100% sold on this is where I wanted to be. And I love the people here. Again, it felt like that. It felt like home. When I was on my interview here, I was so nervous, and then once I started meeting the people, it sold it for me. So this is where I wanted to be.
Talk about the development that has happened. You mentioned the department, the chemistry that exists here at UNG. That has to be one of the more enjoyable aspects of what you do.
Well, we're fortunate that we have a lot of young, new faces, and there was, I think, 16 new people that came when I came in. A lot of new people, all young. Not that we all get along. It's crazy that, I can run into Matt and, mess around with him, and then we have people that are my age to kind of bounce ideas off of, and just the energy. Everybody's happy to be here. Everybody loves their job, and the people is what makes your job. I'm surrounded by people that are in our department, but also outside of campus. I deal with so many people, so many different departments, Airmark, physical plant. I'm kind of like the middleman between all of them, and they make my job worth it too. I love everybody in this place.
When you look at the amount of time that is spent with the responsibilities that come with managing game operations for the department, you have to find an outlet beyond your professional time. What does Morgan Mitchell do in her spare time?
I think the better question is, what doesn't Morgan Mitchell do? It's a wide array of things. I can't even tell you what I do on a basis, because it changes from when I wake up, this is what I want to do, to what actually happens. I love woodworking. I build tables and crazy things like that. I just bought a house 2 years ago, so a lot of my focus now is trying to make that better, and all the projects that come with it. I just built a 40-foot deck, and so that's part of it. Then I also ride motorcycles, as you know. That I love scuba diving. I used to be an avid skateboarder. I still will do that time to time. You don't see too many assistant ADs riding around the square with their skateboard, but I am that one. It kind of is endless. I kind of find things to keep me busy. I don't really ever sit down, so kind of wherever the wind blows for me is.
I was going to say, there's not much downtime.
No, I don't watch TV. I really don't. You'll very rarely find me sitting on the couch. I try to use my entire day. So whether that's either working and using my entire day, or going home and trying to be productive and getting things done, or just enjoying traveling, being adventurous. It's just kind of, I don't like to slow down.
This has been a phenomenal visit. Wish we had more time. I've got to leave you with one last question. Okay. Given the fact that you've been a competitor your entire life, you're constantly involved in doing and going and experiencing, is there still that competitive fire that makes you want to find something to compete in every day?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I, like you said, competitor, I've done that my whole life. Anything that I do, I'm competing, whether that be who can put up the section of bleachers faster. I try to make it fun, entertaining, and competitive, and that is what gets me going. So again, being in that environment, even though I'm not competing, being around competitors and people that are like-minded like myself and love the things that I like is what gets me going every day.
We greatly appreciate what you bring to the team, and it's been a wonderful visit, and we thank you for being a part of Nighthawk All-Access.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, time for the Nighthawk Spotlight.
Hi, I'm Sonia McClain with Red Rooster Realty. Fall is right around the corner, and it doesn't get any prettier than this. Have you been thinking about buying in Georgia's Lake and Mountain Paradise? Give me a call at 770-480-4777.
Nighthawk All-Access continues, and we welcome now Tanner Merck, our Nighthawk Spotlight.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We greatly appreciate that. Of course, Tanner, a stalwart with men's golf, and just sort of wrapped up the fall segment of the schedule, and it's been a fantastic couple of events the last two times out. Some of your best performances of the season. Let's talk a little bit about that to get started.
All right. I started off at our home tournament here in Shasta in late August. It was actually not a great tournament, probably one of the worst it could have gone for me, but after that I turned it around and had a good second tournament at Irish Creek, got a top 20, and then after that got 2 top 5s.
Absolutely. Talk about the Queen's Invitational, a tie for 4th
yes, sir.
in that one, and then followed that up in the regional. That was a fantastic event.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, that was a good field. That was the one that was probably the better playing of the two with a stronger field, and then that's where region's going to be hosted later in the year. A
nice way to sort of get to the break that you have now for the rest of this semester, and a number of events I know on the spring half of the season. Talk about what it's like to maintain that level of play that you finished the fall segment with as you go into a little bit of a break.
The main thing is staying sharp in the cold. I mean, as it's cold today, you just got to still get out there and practice, and don't let your game get rusty, because that shows as soon as that first tournament comes around who hasn't been practicing in the cold. Walk
us through a normal day of practice as you're in season. What will Coach Worley have you going through?
His main thing is short game. He knows that that's what scoring comes down to in tournaments. Everyone's ball striking is going to be up and down, roller coaster kind of thing. So he knows that your short game's got to be good every tournament. So that's what we mainly focus on during season. Because once you're in season, it's too late to make any swing changes.
Right.
So we mainly focus on short game and putting, and then off seasons when you make your swing changes and work on your swing that you need to.
As you have been through the rigors of competition here at UNG for 4 years as a senior, I know you've seen a lot of transition in different types of competition. Talk us through how you have approached golf here at North Georgia.
Well, it's become more and more of a team kind of atmosphere as the years have gone on, with Coach Worley recruiting some really good guys that are here for morale, and just we all click together. And so now it's just a bunch of buddies going out there and playing for each other, hoping to play good so the other guy can relax and play good for himself.
And you touched on something interesting there, golf being a unique sport from the standpoint that there's obviously a very individual aspect, but then the team concept comes into play as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, it helps a lot knowing that your teammates want you to play good, and that you're out there hoping that the other one plays better than you almost. You still want to beat them, but you
Sure.
want them to play well too. You don't ever want your teammate to play bad.
Let's talk about what brought you to Dahlonega and University of North Georgia, originally from nearby in Gainesville, played at Flowery Branch. What was attractive to you about North Georgia?
The academics is a big thing. The computer science program here has gotten bigger as the years have gone on, and it's becoming one of the main majors here that's the school's being known for. So that was a big attraction to me. And then the athletics, the school here really puts a lot of emphasis on athletics, and so I knew that they take care of their athletes, and so this is where I wanted to be.
Now you talk about computer science, and congratulations for being recognized for multiple years, Peach Belt Conference All-Academic
Thank
team.
you.
That's fantastic. In addition to the computer science as your primary, you got a minor in mathematics with certain specificity. Talk to us about that.
Yes, sir. It's concentration, information assurance, and security. It's just kind of keep my doors open. I have a computer science major, and then if I want to, I have a minor in cyber, so I can go into that area if I'd like. And then math minors kind of adds a little cushion to it, makes it sound a little better.
As you're a senior, you begin to think about life beyond college and being here at the University of North Georgia. Have you taken steps to prepare yourself by way of internships?
Yes, sir. I took an internship over this last summer at a local IT company in Gainesville. They got clients worldwide, though. They're a smaller company with employees, but they have a lot of clients, and they do a lot of work, so I interned there.
What was the best part of that experience for you?
Just seeing what the field is like in person and outside of school, outside the classroom, and how much learning there's going to be on the job rather than going into it knowing everything you need to know.
When we talk about programming, that is something that is vital in all areas of business and economics today. You obviously will have a wide variety of opportunities when you enter the job market. Is there anything in particular that would be of more interest than anything else at this point to you?
Just learning, going into a bigger company, being able to learn under those kind of people and being able to have a place to go up would be very helpful. Being able to learn from all levels of a company, learning how to program at each individual level and from different people, that would kind of be a
What have been the
different
biggest
atmosphere there.
challenges from a computer science standpoint in your academic career here at North Georgia over the last 4 years?
Biggest challenges would be probably like we were talking about earlier, a group project with multiple people. Everyone's coding style is different, and then having to combine those and no one working with the same standard. And so that's what I was doing before this interview, was working with my teammates, my classmates, trying to combine our codes that we'd written. And that's the hardest part. That's combining someone else's with yours.
Out of curiosity, is there any aspect of your programming experience, computer science background, that translates into your golf experience here at North Georgia?
It does, a little positively, a little negatively. I might overthink every now and then. I mean, before I go into a shot, I'm trying to think of all possible scenarios of what types of shots to play, and sometimes golf can be really simple, and you just gotta think simple. And so sometimes I need to think a little more simple about it.
Right. From the standpoint of golf, is there any number of the pros that you follow any more than others today?
I want to see Tiger get to 18 majors,
Right.
so I follow him a lot. So he's at 15 now, so he's probably my number one professional golfer. I'd like to see him get to 18.
Excellent. He's on the cusp.
He
of
is.
that.
It's possible.
Exactly. It's within reach.
Yes.
It is within reach. Well, you look back over the last 4 years, both as an accomplished athlete here at North Georgia, an accomplished student. What has been the most memorable part of your time here in Dahlonega?
Seeing the team grow. Every year we've gotten better and better, and I know I'd like to have a couple more years left, but they're getting better and better every single year, and every year we get closer to a natty, hopefully. And just seeing Worley come in and take it to the next level, it's been pretty awesome. So that's been my favorite part.
Excellent.
Yes,
well,
sir.
We thank you so much for what you've done here at North Georgia. We thank you for being our
Thank you.
Spotlight athlete this week.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Indeed. And All Access will continue in just a moment. Stay with us. Back right after this.
Coming up on the Nighthawk Sports Network, Hawk Talk airs each and every Monday at 3:30 p.m. on Glory Sports Radio 97.9 FM. USC Aiken comes to town as the women's basketball team hosts on December 15th at 5:30 followed by the men's game at 7:30 on that Sunday night. That's all coming up on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Nighthawk All Access. A big thanks to Coach Kostecki, also Morgan, and our spotlight, Tanner Merck. We'll see you next time right here on Nighthawk All Access.